Hey everyone, this is Anam. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be discussing the summary of The Bond of Love from the book Beehive of Class 9. It's a heartwarming story written by the British Indian writer Kenneth Anderson. The story highlights the emotional bond shared by the narrator's wife and their pet bear, Bruno. The narrator gets him for her by accident. Once, the narrator is traveling with his friends and they happen to pass through a sugarcane field where people are shooting to drive away the wild pigs. The mother bear runs away to save her life, and by mistake, she lands in front of their car and she is shot by the narrator's friend. They think that the bear is dead, but then they realize that she's carrying her baby bear also, which the narrator decides to save. Since his wife is very fond of animals, he takes the bear and he gifts it to her. The narrator's wife instantly develops a bond with the baby bear and she also gives it a name. She calls it Bruno. She looks after him like her own child. Soon, Bruno takes to drinking milk from a bottle just like a human baby. Within a few days, he starts eating and drinking everything else. Now, everything is the right word to use here because everything means literally everything. Bruno is so fond of eating that he eats anything and everything: vegetable, fruits, coffee, ice cream, cakes, porridge, and whatnot. He eats everything. Soon, he gets attached to their two pet dogs and to all the children of the tenants living in their bungalow. In his younger days, he's left free. He's not chained, so he's free to move in the house. He spends his time in playing, running into the kitchen, and going to sleep in their beds. But Bruno meets an accident. The narrator puts down poison barium carbonate to kill the rats and the mice in his library. Bruno entered the library as he often does. Like I said, he wasn't chained, so he kept moving in the house. So he enters the library and eats the poison. Like I said, he was so fond of eating, he would eat anything he finds. So by mistake, he eats the poison. He's instantly paralyzed. He's not even able to move. But somehow he manages to drag himself to the narrator's wife, who takes him to the doctor immediately. She calls her husband, who reaches the hospital quickly. The doctor has no idea about Bruno's condition as to what has happened to him. But then the narrator guesses what must have happened to him. He guesses that he must have eaten the poison kept for the rats. As soon as the doctor comes to know about the poison's name, it was barium carbonate, he gives him an injection of antidote and his life is saved. After some days, another incident happens. This time, Bruno drinks a gallon of engine oil. Fortunately, this time it has no ill effects whatsoever, but they become very worried. With each passing day, Bruno grows up in size quickly. But he's just as sweet, cute, and playful. The narrator's wife lovingly calls him Baba, a word signifying small boy. But the difficulty with keeping Bruno at their home is that he gets bigger day by day. Because of the tenant's children, he has to be kept chained most of the time. Bruno was playful. He did not want to hurt anyone deliberately, but as he was an animal and he had sharp nails, so by mistake he could hurt anyone. So this is the reason that he had to be kept chained most of the time. With time, they realized that he's getting too big to be kept at home. Moreover, it was also difficult for them to keep a watch over him all the time. So the narrator, his friends, and his son advise his wife to send Bruno to a zoo. They think that for an animal like Bruno, who is a bear, zoo will be the best place for him to go to, and he would be living comfortably there. His wife refuses. Obviously, she loved Bruno like her own child, so she refuses. But then she agrees. At last, she agrees. Bruno is sent to a zoo in Mysore. When he leaves, everyone misses him badly, particularly his wife. The narrator's wife is inconsolable. She keeps crying all the time. They tell all their friends visiting Mysore to make a point to going to the zoo and seeing how Baba was getting along. They get poor reports. Their friends who go to visit Bruno in the Mysore Zoo, and even the zoo curators, the zookeepers, they give poor reports. Bruno stops eating and he's very sad. He gets thin also. He doesn't get along with anyone. He just keeps sitting in one corner without eating anything. Bruno, who was so fond of eating, he stops eating. After 3 months, after 3 months, they go to see Bruno. The narrator's wife is dying to see him. She can't wait anymore. All their friends, they conjecture that Bruno wouldn't recognize her. They think that after all, Bruno is an animal, and in 3 months, he must have forgotten the narrator's wife. But as soon as she goes near Bruno, he starts howling with happiness. He stands on his head in delight. He starts jumping. He is so happy. She doesn't move for the next 3 hours. As you can see in the picture, she sits next to him and she feeds him all his favorite things which he loved, like cake, chocolate, ice cream. So they spent more than 3 hours together. And when the closing time comes, when the zoo curators, the zookeepers, inform her that now she has to go because they have to close the zoo, both Bruno and the narrator's wife cry bitterly. All the zookeepers feel miserable. They are touched by this emotional bond shared by this bear and narrator's wife. His wife requests the curator of the zoo to give Bruno back, but he refuses, expressing his inability. He says that now Bruno is government's property and he cannot be given back. But when he sees that the narrator's wife is heartbroken, he gives her an idea. He tells her that if she goes to meet the superintendent at Bangalore and if he gives the permission, then he would return Bruno. She then goes to the superintendent at Bangalore. He's a kind man, he agrees. In fact, he also arranges for his journey back home. When Bruno comes back home, all the arrangements are made for his comfortable stay. In their bungalow, the narrator, he gets an island made, a 20 feet long and 15 feet wide island, which is separated from the main bungalow with a ditch so that Bruno cannot jump and come that side and harm anyone, hurt any child. Straw is also placed to keep him warm. All his favorite toys are placed there. He's delighted. Now he's 15 months old and pretty heavy too. The narrator's wife reaches the island using a rope tied to the overhanging branch of a mango tree. They spend hours together every day. This was the summary of the lesson. If you liked the video, then please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.